So here we go from Uncle Jake. When I was a kid, there was a game that we made up that we played during recess if it was raining outside, so recess was in the gym. The game was kind of like dodgeball, except you could change sides at any time, and we called the game bash ball. And it was a pretty fun game. So the way you'd play bash ball is first we would pick teams, and then we would put a bunch of balls on the half-court line down the middle of the gym, and then the two teams would go to the walls on opposite sides of the gym with the balls right there in the middle, and then when everyone was on the walls and we were all set, someone would yell, "Go!" And as soon as that yell came, we would run to the center as fast as we could and try and grab a ball. And once you had a ball in your hand, the goal was kind of like dodgeball. The goal was to throw the ball at someone on the other side. And just like dodgeball, if you hit them and they didn't catch it, they were out. And if they caught the ball that you threw at them, you were out. And so that part was very much like dodgeball. But this is what made the game a little bit different. When it made sense, when you thought it made sense, you could actually just switch to the other side and play for the other team. And what that meant is that eventually there would only be two people left. One on one side and one on the other side. And when one of them hit the other one with the ball, the last person in the game would be the champion. So it was a pretty good game. It was pretty fun. But I could never actually win the game. I would do okay. I was pretty good at it, but I wouldn't ever win. That bothered me a little bit. I wanted to win. And there was another kid named Billy in the class. And he would play the game with us. And he was a smaller kid. Sometimes we called him Little Billy. He was very nice. He was tough. He was small, but he was tough and he was determined. He was also very quiet. He didn't say much. He played the game hard, but he didn't talk much. And he was probably about the same as me at bash ball. He was about as good as I was, and that meant that he never actually won the game either. But I could tell that, like me, he wanted to win the game, for sure. And one day it was raining outside, so we had recess in the gym. And we were kind of excited because that meant we got to play bash ball. And it just so happened that this day was a really good day for me. And I was playing very well. In the first game, I made it all the way until I was the fourth guy left. So I got fourth place. And then in the second game, I was the fifth guy left. A little bit worse, but still fifth place. Not bad. In the third game, I was the third guy left. So third place, that was the best I'd ever done. And then I got knocked out. But that got me close. I could almost taste that victory. And I really wanted to win. And then in the fourth game, well, something happened. And it was kind of confusing, but I'll try and explain it. So I saw the best player from the other team charging to the line with a ball in his hand, and he was going to throw his ball at one of the best players from my side, who was also running to throw the ball at the other guy. They were both focused on each other. So they didn't see me. And while they were looking at each other and they were charging towards the line to throw their balls at each other, I came running in from the side. And as the other guy on the other side threw the ball at our best player, I threw the ball at that guy and I nailed him. And it felt good. Because if I could get that good player out of the game, there's a better chance I could win. But he was a really competitive player, and when I hit him, he screamed really loud because he was mad that he got hit. And when he screamed, everyone in the whole gym looked at him. Everyone except little Billy. Little Billy, that quiet kid that I talked about, little Billy pulled a very sneaky move. You see, while I was distracted and focused on throwing my ball at that other kid, Billy snuck in out of nowhere and hit me right in the side. But here's the thing, because everyone was looking at the kid that screamed, no one saw me get hit. No one saw it. Well, no one but Billy. And I looked around and I saw that no one was looking. Everyone was looking at someone else. And then I just acted like it didn't happen. I acted like I didn't get hit. No one really noticed, like I said, except Billy. And Billy just stood there looking at me. And he actually pointed at me. And I could see he wanted to say something like, hey, you're out, or I just hit you. But he didn't say anything. And I felt bad for a quick moment. But you know what? I really wanted to win. And a few seconds later, there were balls flying around again, and Billy had to move, and the game went on, and kids kept throwing balls, and kids kept getting knocked out, one by one after the other, including Billy. And when Billy walked off the court, he did it very slowly, just looking at me. And then other kids got knocked out, and I kept going. And then suddenly it was just me and one other kid on the other side. It was down to the two of us to see who would be the champion. And we both rushed to the line, ready to throw. And then I did something very smart. Instead of focusing on hitting him with my ball, when he threw his ball at me, I just dropped my ball. I just dropped it, and I focused on catching the ball he had thrown, and I did it. I caught that ball that he had thrown. And that was it. I had won. I was the champion. And I felt awesome. I raised my hands into the air and I celebrated my victory. And a bunch of kids came back onto the court and they congratulated me for being the champ and gave me high fives. And then I saw Billy through the crowd. And he was just looking at me. But he didn't look happy for me at all. In fact, he looked disappointed. He shook his head slowly, with a look on his face almost like he felt sorry for me. He had a look on his face that said one thing and one thing only, that he knew I had cheated. He knew I wasn't a real champion. Not at all. And he kept looking at me, but he didn't say anything. He didn't need to say anything because I felt it. My victory was no victory at all. I had won only because I had cheated. And as soon as I realized that, the celebration was over. I wasn't happy anymore, not at all. In fact, I felt awful. He knew I cheated, and I knew I cheated. And I also knew something else. At that exact moment in time, I also knew that I would never cheat at anything again. Cheating isn't winning. Cheating isn't losing. Cheating is worse than losing. Cheating is a disgrace. And if you cheat, you're cheating yourself. You're cheating yourself of hard work. You're cheating yourself from getting better. And you're cheating yourself from knowing what victory, what winning really feels like. And on top of all that, more important, you're cheating other people from the victory that they actually earned and deserve. Cheating is awful, and it will make you feel awful. And I hope that little Billy hears this story one day. And if little Billy is listening, I would tell him 3 things. I'm sorry that I cheated. I never cheated again, and I never will. And thanks, little Billy, for teaching me how to be a better person. And as you listen to this story out there, I hope you can learn from Billy the same thing that I did. Don't ever cheat.